Oh,
Boom,
there.
we are live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Daniel Betancourt here with Team Betancourt at EXP Realty. And today I have the pleasure of making this announcement, introducing Luis Mendez, the newest member of Team Betancourt at EXP Realty. Woo!
Hello.
Welcome, Luis.
Hey, well, thanks for having me.
Yes, so Luis and I, as realtors, have known each other for about a couple years, would you say?
Yeah, I remember, I say 2018 when my brother put an
Three.
offer on your house. Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. So, yeah, we were dealing on a house in Apopka, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And I've seen you grow a lot as a realtor, from back then. You've been selling real estate for some years, but full time, how long full time?
It's now like a year and 2 months, so I'm pretty excited.
Yes. Yeah, so you've come a long way in those 3 years that I've known you, and I see you're posting things regularly on social media. You're doing really professional posts and videos and talking about statistics and just being the go-to person for your real estate market. So I've seen all of that, been following you, staying in touch with you, and we've had coffee a couple times. So it culminated to this. So I appreciate you joining the team. I wanted to welcome you publicly to everyone who's watching. You're an awesome realtor. I know your customers love you, and that's really awesome. So why did you get into real estate?
Well, it actually started back when I was in a coffee shop. I was manager of a coffee shop, and I think this was like maybe like right at the beginning of the crash, like 2008 or 2009. And I had a customer who they came from some part of Europe and came here, and he didn't have anything and got into real estate, and he ended up doing really well. And he just kept talking to me about real estate, just kept sewing it in. I was really into the management. I wanted to, be a general manager of my thing, and he just kept sowing these seeds, and he just seeing him, he had the freedom where he worked whenever he wanted to, but he still, like, he did a lot of work, but it seemed like he had a lot of freedom.
Right.
And in the hotel industry, you don't really have that much freedom. Especially like when they're like every once in a while, it's hectic, and when you work in the hospitality in that industry. Um, so it just, after a while, when things were just getting tough, I was like, you know what, maybe like let me just give it a try. Let me go for it. So I started, doing my research, and I jumped in.
Yeah, so it allows you freedom. Kind of unlimited paychecks is a cool benefit. And I know you're really passionate about coffee. You just mentioned that you were hoping to be like a general manager of some coffee shops and things like that. And that's something that we both have in common. But I think you a little bit more than me. Until I start drinking coffee black with no extra stuff,
Yeah,
you're
just black.
you're more passionate about coffee. You have videos out there on YouTube on how to drink. How to make drinking black coffee palatable or enjoyable.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Yeah, so that's awesome. What are some other things you're passionate about? I know a couple, but share with us.
Well, I'm very into church. I mean, that is like if I'm not at home or at work, I'm like I just love being in church, doing a lot of things. I would say local ministry. I'm or ministry, a missionary, I guess you could say. Well, like our church is really big into sharing the gospel door to door. So my wife and I were really into that. And if we're not that, if we're home, it's gardening. We have, our. I never thought I would be so much into gardening, but just when you buy one plant, you end up with a million down the road, and that's how we have a little full food in our backyards. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of vegetables and fruit that your family consumes, you grew in your backyard, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And what's cool is
Like,
you don't need 10 acres to do it. You've shared with us that you don't need acreage to do this.
yeah, it's funny because even now, or earlier for breakfast, my wife was making some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, just add some peppers and cilantro and stuff from our garden. I just add some of that stuff to it, And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Like, we're not spending so much. It's just everything that's from our garden.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you've been on the team for a couple of weeks. So I've been behind the ball on making this announcement. What were some of your fears about moving as a realtor? And I know it's a huge decision. It was for me. I was at the same place for 13 years before I made the big move. I sat on the fence for a couple of years before I actually pulled the trigger. But what were some of the things, worries that were in your mind before you moved over?
I think to me, as I'm not really big into change. I'm a creature of habit, and like I kind of park myself. I don't like to jump from one thing to another, and you know, it's a new company, and I just wanted to make sure I was going to be stable. And it took a lot of prayer, and at first, you hear MLM, EXP and MLM. Then when you compare it, it's like, well, it's definitely not the same. And then you hear about retirement, and then just like overall, like you hear like I've been in really for about 7 years, and I've brought in. I was thinking about it, I'm like I brought in about 10 realtors. I'm never a person to go out to recruit, but people talk to me, and they want to do stuff, and I'm like, well, I think I brought in about like 10 or 11 people in the past 7 years. And even one just reached out to me today. They're thinking about joining and becoming a realtor. And I'm like, well, with Century 21, I really didn't get paid for that. I'm like, well, with the EXP, I could definitely see like, hey, I'm helping them, and they're, and at the end, they're also helping me as well. So it was just like a lot of little things, a lot of prayer, and then just looking at, I felt like where I was coming from was like Blockbuster, and I felt like the EXP is like the Netflix,
Yeah.
and it's definitely a big step up. And
Yeah.
I know the other companies are always going to be there, but just night and day. Like just the CRM is like, I mean, it's like everything I came from is like stuck 10 years ago, and like all the technology, the training is like definitely way more advanced. So it was pretty nice seeing all that stuff. And I know you said like, man, I wish I would have joined earlier. And I'm like, you know what? I'm happy I joined now, because I felt like I appreciate it more now than if I were to join maybe like in January. I may have not have appreciated it as much,
Mhm.
So I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at, and I can definitely see it's a good place to be at.
Yeah, it's for everyone, think change comes at the right time most of the time, right? So same thing. I thought, man, had I known about this 10 years ago, I should have done it then. But no regrets. We just no
Yeah,
complaints either. I mean, I had a great run where I was, and where I am now. It's just building on that. It's a new chapter. So it's
yeah,
like our lives are this book, and we were the last chapter. Nothing wrong with that chapter. It's just time for a new chapter now. So
definitely,
uh,
definitely.
so now that those, you had those concerns, now that you've been with the team and been here at EXP Realty, I know you've been cranking away right away. Like you asked me to pause you on the leads. You're
Yeah.
so how's that experience been going, like with the team?
It is night and day. I mean, I definitely feel a lot more like stability. It's a lot more. It's a lot more work catching up with everyone, because especially the whole system where it cuts out a lot of the work for you, and then
Hmm.
it gets them ready. And I think that plays a huge part, because it's like, wow, like that's cutting out 90% of what I was doing, trying to trying to get them to do what this system is doing for you. So it really really helped out big time, and I see the fruit of it. And it's just been a week, so definitely like down the line, I could definitely see how a year from now, bringing like tons of other leads, I could definitely see it being a way big beneficial. And I could see I can now see me reaching my goals and going above the goals that I have.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Something that I enjoy about our team are, the daily huddles that we have. It's just a time where we get together and we can celebrate the victories and discuss the challenges and start the day on a positive note, energized with just, any concerns that each of us are having on a call. We're sharing it with each other, and we all learn and we all take away from those conversations. So that's something that I enjoy, and you've been a great addition so far, and I knew you would be. You add extra spice to this awesome cake that we're baking here, and I appreciate you. So I just wanted to appreciate you here publicly, say thank you for joining the team. And what kind of transactions do you like working on? What are your favorite kinds of transactions to work on?
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, you like,
so, like selling vacation homes, selling
okay.
acreage.
I definitely love working with folks who want to move out towards the country. And I think it was like 2019 was like everyone I knew wanted to move out towards the country. And even before that, I never thought about myself living out in the country until I had one buyer. He wanted to sell his house from Castleberry, and he wanted to move out to Lakeland, but like in the countryside of Lakeland. And I thought this guy was crazy. I was like, this is a nice home, and you want to go to the middle of nowhere? Like, your phone doesn't work out there. And I fell in love with it. I mean, it literally, just driving out there, it felt like freedom. I mean, it was, all the stress just went away, and I was like, I like this. And it was funny because I ended up having more and more and more people who wanted to do that. I had another guy from Apopka who moved from a Sheeler, right? You know where Sheeler Road is?
Yes.
He moved from there all the way to Howing the Hills. And he got 8 acres for $250 on a lake. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is nice. Right. The road there was a little crazy, but I just loved all of it. And now, like, every week or so, they're all sending me photos of their farm animals, what they're doing with the property, their kids fishing. So it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I have a customer also that moved out to some acreage in Apopka, and he's always sharing videos of his cows and his goats and all of his farm animals. And I mean, it's he absolutely loves it. And so that's awesome. Well, what's a website where people can search for homes with you if they want to reach out to you and look for homes?
So it's Luis, LUIS .centralfloridapads.com.
Yes. All right. Luis.centralfloridapads.com. And what's your phone number if anyone wants to connect with you about moving out to the country?
It's 407-790-6232.
That's awesome. Well, Luis, thank you. You have a bright future, and we're looking forward to helping you accomplish your goals faster, and look forward to working with you. And thank you, everybody out there who's watching. Thank you, Jose. I see your fire comment. Appreciate that. And everyone else, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.